As you grow and scale your business online, there's two questions that come up all the time. Pricing, right? What price? How do I price test? And also split testing. And these are two of the fastest ways for you to scale your business to that next level. And to kind of go through some of these ideas here today with you, I have Matt Giovanisci with me. Matt, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So Matt texted me because we're amigos in real life as well. And he texted me with some questions about price testing, split testing. So I said, hey, let's jump on. And we decided to record this so we could share it with you so you could start to understand how we, two professionals who make millions of dollars online, think about these two very key yet advanced concepts. Therefore, Matt, I am here to be of service to you and to help you in any way. So why don't you give me the breakdown of the questions you've got going and what you're thinking right now?
So my first question, and this is the question that I constantly run up against, is should I even do this? Because yeah, I know everyone says it, but then you're like, it's like if you're somebody who's like, I just started my blog and I want to A/B test headlines, you're like, all right, well, probably not that, or but the last 3 years we've not grown in traffic, but we've gotten 4.5 million visitors each year.
Okay.
And so like in that realm, I'm like, is it worth split testing stuff?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I think
And
the answer,
the
what's
easy
the
answer
threshold?
is, well, the easy answer is because you have statistical significance coming through on a very rapid basis. So if I
Yeah.
break down 4.5 million visitors per year, that's what, like 300,000 plus 400,000 per month, somewhere in that range, which means that you have so much potential data that you can learn. What I think the big question is, what's actually worthy of split testing,
Yeah.
and what is like, oh, is a green button better or a red button better?
Right.
And Jay Abraham has this one saying that's test screams, not whispers. And that's kind of one of the key ideas. Now, I know that you are mildly anti pop-ups. I remember back in the day, you ran kind of like built-in sections. So on Melanie's blog, that at its peak was like 800,000 visits a month is what she was getting. We're down a bit from there, but like running A/B tests on the pop-ups for the lead magnet was the fastest way for me to dial in what does our audience actually value more. So things I split tested was a free MP3 versus a free PDF. And then, so the actual thing itself, and then, which the content in them was pretty much the same, right? So we were just choosing a different media. And then from there, we were testing, is it, in our niche, is it healing? Is it manifestation? All of those kind of outcomes that people want in the spiritual world. So there was a series of layers to what we tested on that. And at this point, we're not really testing the opt-in anymore. We kind of do more split testing on product level things only.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at, which is product level. And I think, so the big one that, and I have trouble with split testing in general, like what's the best software to use now that, Google Optimize is gone.
Dead. Yeah.
Like what's important to test, how long do I test it? Like there's all these things, which we can go over individually, but you asked me the business itself, and I will give you that answer. I'm not trying to avoid it. So we're talking about Swim University, which is my pool care and hot tub care brand. We are trying to, so again, we get a lot of visitors to the site through our blog. We have a pretty large YouTube channel that we get a lot of visitors through as well. Back in 2021, if you were to go over to my site, Money Lab, I did an experiment based on your ATM strategy where I split tested different offers like you had mentioned in pop-ups. I didn't use pop-ups at the time. I just used built-in stuff. But I tested, a free video versus a free checklist versus a free cheat sheet, all around the same thing, just different delivery mechanisms. Cheat sheet won out like landslide, which makes sense in hindsight, because you're like, okay, yeah, I think, a video is free. You can go on YouTube. A checklist is just a checklist. Like it's not giving you any information. It's just like checks. And then a cheat sheet is like, oh yeah, if you're a gamer, which I'm not, but it's like, oh yeah, I want the cheats, I want the cheat codes.
Yep.
You know, it
Or if
feels
you
like
didn't study for the test, but yet your teacher in high
right.
school gives you the ability to bring a cheat sheet to the test,
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, I'm actually going to pass this test, even though I've done zero prep.
Yeah. It makes sense even to somebody like me who doesn't game. It's just like, oh yeah, I want the fat. It's like if the goal is to get somebody from point A to point B as fast as humanly possible,
Yep.
cheat sheet in and of itself as a container, as a package, like sort of says that.
Right.
So that's what we've been doing. And we've kind of like, we've taken that concept and sort of pitch it everywhere. We pitch it on our YouTube videos. We pitch it on our website. We have done pop-ups, you know, in the past. They work okay. They definitely get us more than what we got. I'm just switching. I constantly switch technology platforms. And so like, we're just in between platforms right now. So, but yeah, they'll probably come back. So the other day I was talking to Steph, my wife now,
Congratulations, by the way.
Yep. Who works, you know, with me at some university. So we were saying like, okay, we have this product, we have this pool course, right? And it's, you know, we were charging back in 2021 when we did this experiment. I had raised the price from $49 to $97 and then created an OTO based on your recommendation. That OTO was for 24 hours deadline funnel, 50% off right after they subscribe for the cheat sheet. And then, you know, that was it. And that did well for 2-3 years.
Okay.
Right. But we had nothing else to sell them. Right. Like nothing. So it was like, that was our money we were making. That was it. I was never able to run Facebook ads because I could never get it below $49, you know, cost per acquisition. Right.
Yep.
And because I never had the upsell. So we were like, okay, maybe we need to start selling physical products. So we started selling chemicals. That did not work either. Then we were like, because it's like, it's not that much of an upsell and it wasn't a complete solution for people. Like it was just a chemical that solves one little tiny problem, which would have been a better lead magnet to a bigger course, right? Which was, it really should have been flipped the other way, but it's a physical product. So there's a lot more cost associated with it, et cetera, more than a digital product. So then I had the harebrained idea to be like, oh, let's take our book. The course comes with a digital PDF of our pool care handbook, and it comes with a video course. So we were like, let's turn it into an actual book, a physical book, and sell that.
Yep.
We did that I want to say that came out in maybe June, and our course sales tanked because the assumption that I had made after the summer was like, we cannibalized our course sales because we were offering essentially like a physical book that was $49 that we were making maybe $21 after it was printed and after it was shipped, which is not bad, by the way. Like retail for a book, like or like profit on a book, $21 after shipping, it's pretty good for you know, for us self-published the whole nine. But $21 is not as good as $97 for a full course, which is again is 100, like almost 95% margin if you remove the Stripe fees or whatever.
Or at an OTO that would have been about $45, $47.
Even an OTO at 47 at the time, still more than, you know. So so what happened was I was like, all right, let me take the book out of this equation, right? And I bought your autoresponder template.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm just going to put this in place.
Build a 7-day.
Yeah, I'm going to build a 7-day. I'm going to remove the OTO because we were getting comments from people like, oh, I signed up for this cheat sheet and they're just trying to sell me shit.
Yeah. And comments on the Facebook ads you're talking about, right?
Oh God, that was worse. No, I'm talking about YouTube videos.
Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
But yeah, Facebook was even worse.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, I think the more ethical thing to do would be, let me immediately give them access to the thing that they requested, right?
Okay.
And then I will sell them via email. And if I do it that way through a 7-day, I will not give them a huge discount. Instead, I will offer them the course plus the physical book as a bundle. So they
Okay.
will never be able to get the physical book unless they buy through this one channel.
Yep.
I put that all together, followed your template, obviously changing it, like,
Yep.
for my words and whatever, and shortening things and whatever.
Yep.
I ended up throwing 15,000 people through this.
Okay.
I'm going to say
Dozens of sales, maybe
5 sales.
Yep. Yep. So, and I love this. So for everybody who's watching, thank you for sticking with it, because what we're doing is we're taking all of the parts of his machinery and we're laying all these parts on the table, right?
Yeah.
It's important sometimes to assess, like, what are you doing? What have you done in the past? What are you currently doing? And it's this reorganization of things and reordering of things. And when you break, so the thing about an OTO that makes an OTO so special is 100% of leads sees it, right? When you get to your pitch showing up in email 2, 3, 4, you're literally committing to 30% or less of people, because like your open rates are probably somewhere in the 20 to 30% range. Not to mention, if it's the real pitch is happening on email 5, you're going to have like maybe a 0.5%, 1/4% unsubscribe rate as well. So what happens is by the time you get down to the number of people who open email 5 who haven't unsubscribed, and then what percentage of them click, it's like 1%. So you're getting like 1% of 30% of people to actually see the sales message.
Right.
And that simple math right there in the number of eyeballs getting on the message is exactly why it kills. And that autoresponder series is designed to actually work in tandem with the OTO. And generally, I try to sell it as a bundle with all of my templates, because we need to just make more offers more, like make offers before we give value, because there's some people who just have a green spa right now or a green pool, and they literally have an acute problem and they're ready to throw money at the problem today. So we make it available for those people, but then also for the people who need the emotional, the trust building, and all of the logic and all of these other things that you're going to offer through the emails. Then we kind of attempt to close those people. And it's like, when they work together, you can start to look at your return on ad spend through a 7-day attribution window. Right. So you're not just getting that one time, 1 day, 1 hour attribution window. You actually look through it through a 7-day attribution window. Real quick, one question I have is, like, on the chemicals that you sell, I know you have cost of goods sold built into that. When you make a chemical sale with whatever your current offer is, like, what is the rough profit on that? Like it's $5, $10. Ish. Like it's tiny.
It's not. I honestly don't even want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
Because we're not planning on expanding the line. Okay. It solves a very specific problem that actually we'd much rather dial in our digital stuff, because that ultimately is what gives us the cash flow in order to do physical. So because we are not taking equity, we're not giving away equity, we're not taking investments, we're not, taking loans out for, so it's like, so we have this course, we now have this book that can be shipped internationally, it's slower, but we were like, and I also want to point out too, in those numbers that I gave with the 7-day, it's October.
Yes. Right? It's so not pool season here in North America. Yeah.
Sure. So my assumption there was, well, if you're signing up for getting a pool cheat sheet now, it means your pool's probably open. You know what I mean? So it's less people that are subscribing, but those people have open pools, because we do live in, Australia is having their season right now. And obviously, like in Florida and where you are, and Southern California and Texas, like they all have year round
Sun Belt. Yep. The whole Sun Belt.
So I just want to make that context a little clearer. Yes. I gave you the number of people that got through it. I didn't give you the number of people who opened those emails, which would have been, you're right, 75% less. So that totally. 5 to, that conversion rate number changes.
That's 100%, just the number of eyeballs. So then the chemicals, correct me if I'm wrong, but like get them on auto purchase chemicals every month. It's a subscription thing. You're making a few bucks per person per month. And it's kind of like an automated side of the business. That's the ultimate back end that just has a little bit of cash flow, but it's not like the
No,
focus.
we're not even doing
Okay.
that because it's not even something that requires consistent purchasing
Got it.
on the pool side.
One and done.
So we
Yep.
do have another thing in the works that I don't want to mention,
Yep.
but essentially
Good.
it's a tool. We're building a digital tool
Okay.
that could be subscription.
Cool.
We just
cool.
haven't landed on it yet. We're still working on it.
This is one of the smartest things to do, is always be thinking about what's the next thing we're going to sell our audience. So
Yeah.
right here behind me, since I'm literally building out this set right now, that's one of Melanie's art pieces right there that we're now selling on Etsy. Right.
Nice.
And so we've been selling audio meditations. We've been selling all these different things. It's like, well, we know our people are buying other things. What kinds of other things are they buying? They're buying mugs. They're buying, this is the concept of merchandising. And Melanie does graphic arts and she loves that. So it's like perpetually thinking of new things to sell your people is one of those ways that you kind of like reconfigure all of your numbers from the testing phase and the testing process.
Yeah. So
go ahead. Do you have a specific question, or you want kind of some, like, because I see kind of a way to start to stack things.
I do have a specific question. So what we've decided, or at least what I've decided, is I've kind of splintered out all of these products that essentially do the same thing, right? The book does the same thing as the course, does the same thing as our chemicals, right? Does the same thing maybe as our tool. And so what I would like to do is concentrate all of those into one product offering and just nail that, because I do not think we ever truly nailed that. Right. So instead of trying to think of more and more products to sell, I'd rather go, how do we sell this one product effectively? Going into CRO, A/B testing, copywriting, product development and improvement. So what I decided was like, okay, let me put the OTO back, right? Let me put it back. Let me remove the 7-day for now.
Okay.
And let me figure out I wanted to figure out what is the price threshold that a pool owner is willing to pay for a course to teach them everything there is to know about their pool.
The be all end all.
So I want to know, what's the highest maximum price that I can charge that people are like, I'm good with this, right? So I do have to A/B test that. And one of the things that I don't like doing, I don't like the idea of A/B testing, but I feel like it has to be done in order to just figure that out. And then once it's figured out, then I can rebuild the course and redesign it so that it matches to me, or I shouldn't say matches, exceeds that value. So my first test, which I set up yesterday, and I can tell you the tools that I'm using too, was to basically create an OTO with the same deadline funnel, meaning time frame, the same discount percentage off, 50%. But different base prices.
So did you do 197 and 97?
197 and 149.
And 149. And you already have data at 97. So that
correct. I already have data at 97.
Yep.
So we did raise the price of the course. We added some new stuff to the course, and the course again organically just sold that way. Like people were just buying it off the shelf, kind of without, with a decent, sales page. But I was like, okay, and again, we're talking off season, so my numbers are not like, it's hard for me to compare them, but I was like, okay, maybe 149 people are like, they can handle that, or at least it's valuable to them at 149.
Yeah.
Is it valuable at 200? Is it valuable at 249? Is it valuable at 399? I don't know what that upper limit is, but once my thought was, let me figure that out first. And then it makes more sense for me to cram as much value into that to like exceed. Now I know what I have to exceed.
So a couple of things here, man, because like, let's just say, and I want to talk about your metric for actually tracking this, because you got to be really meticulous about like what metric you're using to compare everything to. But like, let's say that like the 197 is winning, and I would probably use earnings per lead, because everyone who sees that, they're seeing it after they opt in for the cheat sheet, correct?
Yes.
So A lead
And
is
it's the
a
exact
viewer
same sales page, by the way. So
with just the price test.
the only difference is when you click the button, in the shopping cart, the price will be not even that much different, because we're talking about 50% off, 149, which I think is like $78,
Yep.
and like 197,
97, which is like $97. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you find that your earnings per lead, right, is actually the highest at the 197 price point, and your refund rate has not changed, technically speaking, I don't think you need to go in and do anything to that offer. Like, that is what the market values that product at. And if you see a spike in your refund rate, and your refund rate goes from 2% to 12%, that would obviously be an alarm bell. Like, okay, right.
Yeah.
Like, the sales material's great. Like, I got them in the door, but then obviously something broke down in delivery. They didn't feel like the value was there. Therefore, XYZ. But where my brain goes to is, while you're doing this, and we did this with Melanie's stuff years ago and we still do it with a lot of our different products. We tested one product, 27, 47, and 97, right? And we're not necessarily looking for the highest profit margin number. We know which one that will be, because it's your profit margin also multiplied by your conversion rates. So you're monitoring the conversion rates just to know which ones convert better, but you have to calculate it down to the actual return that you're receiving, because that's what controls how much you can spend to buy another customer. And when you're in a situation that you don't have several products to sell them on the back end, you need to be making sure that you're getting like a 2-to-1 return on ad spend at minimum, because you have to bake your profit into this first cake. And you know that, but I'm mentioning it because there's people listening who might have several products, like an audio hypnotist who creates hypnosis MP3s. Like, they can keep creating new MP3s and new hypnosis sessions for people for months and years to come. So they can break even on the front end. They can break even on this first transaction.
Yeah.
And then they know at some point they'll sell something else for them down the line.
Yes.
So based on the business model, but what I would like to see happen, and what shopping cart are you actually managing the transactions through? Okay, so you're on Shopify. So plugins galore. But I think the best setup is to do OTO, 50% off, deadline funnel, which use a follow-up sequence to remind them that, by the way, your deadline is coming up. Is it a 48-hour deadline, a 24-hour? So they should be getting at least one more email to reintroduce them back, right? To make sure that you're taking that multiple chances. But like, do you have the book as a bump offer for a checkbox where they can just check the box and be like, hey, add the book on so you can have easy access to all this information as well?
No. And there's a technical reason. There's a technical reason why we can't do that.
Well, there's a technical reason why you can't do that with the platform you're on today, but you could set this all up on another platform and get it running, because what this does is, this is how you add more revenue per customer, right? This is how you increase your average order value, which will do one of two things. Number one, it'll allow you to spend more money on your ads effectively. Number two, it'll make you more profit, right? And if you find on this front end thing, at whatever your highest converting, whatever your highest earnings per lead number is, let's say it's a 149 number, you're like, damn, like, it's working, it's converting really well, but I'm only making, I'm not necessarily making enough compared to my ad spend. Start to tack on more products from there.
Yeah.
And that's where you could do the bump of the book, and then you could do a one-click upsell of, by the way, do you want all the chemicals? Here's a kit of chemicals. Yeah. And so you get them to where the one transaction that they're saying yes to is not just that $78. Like, they actually could spend $178 or $278 on that one transaction, which I'm stretching it for where you're at right now, because I know you don't like, that's not the costs associated, but like, your chemicals are fulfilled through a third party 3PL type thing. That's like, it's all automated, right? Or is that a total pain?
Yeah, it's all automated, but there's an issue with taxes.
It ain't as easy as the gurus make it sound.
Yeah, so we ran into an issue where I have to pay state taxes in every fucking state, because I'm not
you deliver to.
I'm not selling in Amazon, and Amazon's the marketplace, so I am the marketplace. So if we reach a certain threshold of sales within certain states, we have to start paying the sales tax in those states and getting a sales tax license in those states. Which becomes a job, an actual physical human being job that I'm like, well, maybe that's not something that we want to get into
for low
but
margin products.
for low
Absolutely.
margin products, right? So,
Right.
but
So then FBA is possibly like, if you want to play that game, then you just run an FBA and you follow up with emails with, you can't do affiliate links and emails. But
yeah,
you can
so
do reviews and right.
what we've decided is like, not that we're gonna, like, we're still gonna mess with physical products, but we're trying to do is focus on like maximizing profitability on the things that we can control. Like, we can control digital products. I can make them better. I can deliver them faster.
Yep.
I can, change the price. I can design them better. I can make the customer experience better the whole way through. Physical product becomes much difficult. I'm not sending these products out by mail, by hand. So I'm losing that. I'm not formulating the chemicals myself. So like I can't
Commodity.
like prove them better, without a ton of R&D.
Commoditization. Yeah, totally. And
So
the margins are so slim that it doesn't, I mean, that is not necessarily a good direction to go into for the types of businesses we run, like high leverage
especially
businesses.
with shipping. If I was running a retail store locally, like totally, obviously, like you'd have to do it that way, and it makes sense. But those, the chemicals are not the money maker. They're the help. They're like for us, it's like, hey, we're going to help you with your pool.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to sell you these chemicals, which we don't really make that much on, but like, it's also going to help you. Like, it's almost like a charity case in a weird way. Unless I invent my own chemicals and I'm like, no one else sells this. Like, this is our special formula, which is not that would require me to get into an entirely different area of
it's a whole different
expertise,
business.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a whole world of like drop shipping where you could create like your own vacuums and I'm sure you've looked into this, but I mean, like, there is a way to build out a whole line of physical products, but
totally,
it's important to ask, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Right? Yeah, and it might just be worth
business.
Yeah, it might be worth just, obviously we have Amazon affiliates, which is fine, but we can't do it through email. But there's ways around that, where you could, send an email to a blog post that has them baked in,
Right.
Or you could, we could do affiliate deals with private companies that are making products that we really love and have private deals with them where the affiliate rate is 10% or more. Yeah. So, and it's like, and we've done that before to have made really good money because we have the audience to do that. But I'm even thinking, so, like, let's say basically the question was like, is that a good price test? Because
yes.
Okay.
100%. That's exactly what I would be doing.
But I want to point this out too, because we came to the same conclusion and maybe your audience might not come to the same conclusion. We were like, in my head, I immediately went, well, let's test 50% off and 75% off and see which one does better. And I'm like, which one's going to do better.
Yep.
75% will do better than 50%.
But here's the actual question of how you want to test this is you got to figure out what your actual retail number is. So can you get to $97 average order value on this thing with a 75% discount versus a 50% discount? And that's a separate test, and you would have to test them separately. So keeping that percentage discount the same that's your constant, right? And then
you're changing one variable, which is the base price.
Exactly. So then you're going to measure, what is my conversion rate at $49.97, $197, $149, and then what's my earnings per lead at each one of those numbers, right? And you need to have, I would think, you need to have at least 300 customers to have statistical significance that I would really trust. Now, on some things, I'm willing
300 people to pull the trigger on one of those two OTOs.
I mean, yeah, because if you have 300 people, what kind of conversion rates are we looking at? Like 6%, 5%, give or take?
Lower.
2%.
Yeah.
Right.
1%.
So 1%. So if 300 people see it, you're making 3 sales. Right. And for 3 sales, that's not enough
people. 300 people to see it.
No, I literally think you need at least 100 sales at each price point to truly know if that's going to work. Now, that's scientific. That's That's true.
I was going to say, because we're in off season. Like, that's not going to happen until next year.
Yeah, totally.
It would take all winter to get that data.
100% agree with that. And that's where you need.
And it may be just statistically insignificant. So we're like,
But if it's
Well,
statistically insignificant, that means you're making the same amount either way, and you're kind of net
true.
out.
True.
The only thing that changes is the number of customers who come into your ecosystem. And some businesses will want to err on the side of higher customer generation numbers, right? The actual number of transactions going up because they have a very high lifetime value per customer. The hypnotist is the example of that, right? Like, all I want on the front end is a customer generation system to start spitting out customers, because I know my lifetime value for every customer is going to be very high because I'm making a new hypnosis session once a month, every month for the next 5 years. That's, 60 different sessions I'm going to be offering over the next 5 years. You're not in that bucket. So like you
Not
only
right
need to
now.
really, you only need to care about the actual return or the actual amount of income made. Yeah, the data set is that's required to get true statistical significance on this is actually quite large, man. And this is where I'm glad you're growing your list, because running a big spring sale, open up your pool sale for everyone who did or didn't buy. This is that's where you are able to actually earn your kind of like revenue back for all those people who didn't buy that first time, is by running quarterly, semi-annual, biannually sales.
Yep. Now, you say that, and I'm hearing the voice of like the general audience going like, then what the hell? Like, if there is no point to A/B testing, because if I need that much data, then I will never. It'll take me a year or 2 years to get that many customers, especially if we're talking about high-end products, that I'll never know. And then as soon as I do know, it may be insignificant. And I was like, wow, I didn't waste that time, but it was like, I really wish I didn't do that. Like, I wish I just would have picked one and went with it. So like,
yeah, but what if you pick the one that has the shittiest earnings per lead and
yeah,
leave a bunch of money on the table? And this is why you have to do it, right? This is why it's like hindsight gives us the blessing of being able to be like, well, that did or didn't work, right? That confirmed, I knew that all along. Well, yeah, but you didn't actually know. You thought that. And like sometimes our speculations are correct, but other times our speculations are not correct. So have you ever done, and I know we talked about this, have you done a direct mail piece? Have you rented a list from like Nextmark?
No, I am trying to stay. Okay, the reason I haven't done this is because I still don't believe that I have a truly bulletproof offer.
Right.
I have not landed on that yet. So I don't feel comfortable, spending money even on Facebook or Google to promote something when I don't even know if it works. I don't have the conversion rate numbers. So like, and I've never had them. At one point I will say, with my OTO strategy back in like 2021, which we ran for like 2 years, my conversion rate was 3% easily. Okay. That was only through organic. As soon as I tried to throw that through Facebook, 0.2%. Like, it just, because, and it's very clear why. Because if it's organic, I'm pre-building trust.
Right.
You've read an article, you've watched a video, you're like, this
they're
guy,
looking for you.
this company,
they're literally actively looking for you. You're not interrupting them where they're trying to look at whatever people look at on social media, right? You're not interrupting. Yes. They're seeking out an authoritative figure to help them solve a problem. And when you rank, they think Google's like, oh, well, Google says this guy's the authority. Trust factor cross.
They're getting a trust. Yeah. Or YouTube is serving me this, therefore it must be good. Or I went on YouTube or Google and typed it in and there they were.
Yep.
Versus, you're right, the interruption of a Facebook ad. And even like the Google ads converted the same. So to be clear, like I ran Google ads as well. They converted also 3%.
Okay.
But Facebook did not. And I went, okay, I probably have to provide more value on the Facebook. Literally in the ad itself, I would have to create a video that was basically like one of our best performing YouTube videos, just like run that.
Correct.
Run them to the, so that way, at least if they watch the whole thing, they're like, this was great.
And then you can retarget them.
Button. Yeah.
And you can retarget people who watch 25% or 50% of the video.
Yeah, that would have probably worked better than had I, what I did. But
I would test that way,
I still think 3% sucks. It's like, all right, 3%.
3% is great, man. You can
I
build big
know.
businesses off 3%. And I understand that you're like, this should be able to get better and better and better, but just we've got some up to 10%. Like that's about the max, 10, 11, 12% for short periods of time. We've had some offers get to that high, but
Yeah.
it's worth noting that I've probably tested, 200, 250 offers. So, I mean, we do a lot of things because we create everything digitally. We literally just recorded a new session that'll be a product this morning before our call here today. Right.
So that's ultimately why I want to stay in digital, because I am so fast at that I can improve anything. Like,
but what else can you
30
create
minutes.
for them? That's my question, is what
Right.
other digital products can you create for for your folks, to where, and not just like, okay, here's the pool product and then here's the hot tub product, and being more specific to hot tub people will increase the conversion rates. Being more specific to pool people will increase the conversion rates, even though it's the same thing. But all we're doing is selling that first level of, here's how to do the thing level of it. You got to get the bump built in, dog. Like it's just gonna work.
Yeah,
like it's just some percentage of people, 8 to 15% of people are gonna be like, yeah, I want the book. Put that on my bookshelf. Of course I want that. I'll pay $29 more for that or whatever.
You're right. So here's where it gets a little bit in the weeds. So we were like, all right, it felt good to do a price test, because we were like, let's find out what people are willing to pay for a pool course, like a total package, like you learn everything, right? And then we're like, okay, we can move that offer around. We can go, all right, we now know that the people are willing to pay physically, not the discount, but like the actual money out of pocket. Maybe it is $149, maybe it's $197. I don't know. Or maybe it's friggin' $400. I have no idea where the level is. You had mentioned earlier, see, in my head, I went, all I care about is total revenue at the end of this test. And you're like, nah, it's revenue per subscriber, which I'm like, okay, that I need to like write down, check mark, because I'm like, that I wouldn't have thought that. And what's the damn difference?
Apples to apples. Right. Well, it gives you an apples to apples, because depending on how you're running your split test, some variations are going to get different amounts of visitors to it. Right. And seasonality, because so one way to run this split test is, in October and November, I'm going to do this price. In December and January, I'm going to do that price. And I'll make sure that each one sees 500 people see each offer, but you're getting a different person in December than you are in October. So that changes things to where you don't actually know. And then the other side of it is, if you just run an in the moment split test, like just an actual true A/B test where it rotates, a lot of times those systems will actually throw more traffic towards one of your variations. It's rare that they actually split traffic 50-50, which is freaking annoying as hell. But we see it all the time, and there's becomes a statistical variation in the number of people who actually see the test. So breaking it down to a number that you can look at on everything. So from an affiliate's perspective, we look at earnings per click, right? So I sent 1,000 clicks to your offer. What did I earn? Cool, that's how much I earned. But like, what was my earnings per click? And that way I can compare vendor A versus vendor B versus vendor C. And maybe less people clicked on vendor C, but I made a lot more earnings per click on vendor C. Then that means I can now debug and say that my email didn't grab them, the hook didn't grab them, but I know for a fact I make more per click on vendor C.
And that works because it works when you split test it between vendors, because you ultimately don't have control over the sales page.
Right.
So it's like, all right, because it's like, oh, it's that's another issue there. But so so the thought process was, once I figure out the price, then I can start moving it. So like, for example, we had an idea where we were like, what if we just took a chunk off of the product and we solved one very specific problem instead of the entire problem, which is pool care. And we solved one specific problem. Let's call it, cloudy water, for example. And we were like, all right, we're going to create a cloudy water workshop. And it's that is the OTO. And it's maybe 29 or 49. And it's only available now, or like we discount it, whatever like scarcity, urgency, levers we can pull there. Cause that's an entirely separate A/B test, I think. Right.
Totally.
And then the one click upsell can be the bigger course, maybe it's 200 and it comes with a book, but all of those other things, or you put back in the 7-day sequence, and then that's the pitch of the bigger product. And so like, yes, you're making money off of the initial, you're making money more, you're getting more customers to see your offer, right? Your second offer, which is higher. And so then you can go, well, which is what your whole ATM strategy is like, right? It's like, well, the money I made on the initial purchase is what I spend to get into Facebook, right?
And your profits are all in the back end.
That's my funding, because I know 30% or 25% or whatever of those customers or even leads that go through that 7-day sequence will buy the $200 thing, right? And so that's my real profit. That's like what I get to keep. That's my real revenue. And the rest of it just goes into paying for ads. So I was like, we could do that, but I kind of feel like we should figure out what the big product price is first. But I'm thinking like, well, I'm offering it at 50% off. So like, I'm really not finding that out. Right.
Well, I mean, you earn whatever the number is post discount. Right. So a $97 product that's discounted by 50% is actually a $47 product. Right. So you can still know it. You just got to make sure you're mentally linking it to the price that people actually pay. Right. Because there's a threshold of where they'll pay. Now, here's one thing we did before this that'll just kind of mess with your head. We took one of our best selling things that was like $249, and we dropped it down to $47. And we would run these sales where we just ran them at $47, and we just ran ads, all of our unsubscribes, all of our retargeting, and we sent it to the warm traffic, and it crushed it. So as we're approaching Black Friday.
But isn't that obvious? Because they already knew it was worth this much.
I mean, we've tried it on other products and it flopped, right? It only worked on a couple of products. It's not something that works absolutely every single time. So it's one of the most interesting parts about A/B split testing and actually getting into the data is how different the outcomes can be from what seem like relatively small changes to the game. It doesn't always happen that way, but sometimes you can see such an increase in volume in sales that the sheer increase in conversion rate on the sales page because of the price discount changes all the metrics, and you can earn more profit long term sometimes from a lower price point than you can from a higher price point. That's the point, right? Is mentally you're thinking, well, if I charge more for this thing, is that how I earn more? And the ultimate answer lies in the data, which is why it's smart that you're doing testing. And this is why when your ego mind is telling you like, this is dumb, I shouldn't even be doing testing. It's like, well, you actually don't know what the best number is. But it's worth acknowledging, if you build something, you put a price tag that you think fits on it, it works for you, enough people buy it that you guys are making enough money to pay for your lifestyle and you guys are happy and just life is good.
Yeah.
Like, do you really need to split test it in that moment? The reason why most people get really, really into split testing is because they're chasing ever increasing cost per customer acquisition from Facebook ads and YouTube ads and Google ads.
Well, we want to do that. Like, that's the thing is like, we have been an organic company. This, not like
so
food.
Organic.
Yeah.
My organic chemicals, my organic fucking chlorine and bromine.
All of our traffic has come from just like us putting out free content on YouTube and our website.
Dependent on the algorithms is another way of saying that. You don't have the freedom to A, scale, or B, defend against Google doing something stupid.
Absolutely.
And let's just be real. In the last couple of months, Google's getting dumber in how they're trying to deal with the onslaught of AI-based content.
Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, look, I'm spending a lot of time learning, I spend a lot of time learning Facebook ads. I think I know what I'm doing as far as running them. Whether they work or not is a separate issue. But I'm like, what I don't have is the ability to run an ad and confidently know that I'm going to make money off of this person, even if I don't break even or I lose money on their initial acquisition. Because I do not have a good model in place, like an actual, my business model is fine for our lifestyle, right? And fine for organic, but it doesn't, but I would love to scale it without scaling a personnel. And I think that there's the way to do it would be like, one, let's figure out the threshold of our product. Let's figure out product pricing, because we're probably underselling. We're probably underpriced, because
Yes.
you had mentioned earlier about the return rate. We're not even close to like 0.1%. Like we're not even
Okay.
close. So
Yeah.
like we get maybe like, if we sell maybe, I don't know, I will say like 250 courses, we might get one return, maybe.
Wow. Okay. Yep.
It's nothing. So I'm like,
Let's turn up
we
the
haven't
hype.
even, yeah, we haven't even like tested that level of, but
Who wrote
ultimately,
the
yeah,
sales
we want
copy on your OTO?
the same one it's always been.
Is that you?
The one that you
Who?
came up with.
Oh, the OTO sales copy.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Got it. So it's based off of.
Saving money. Like save hundreds on chemicals and spend less time cleaning or something like
Yep.
that.
So that's the big hook, the big headline.
Yeah, I think
And
that
so,
could be tested.
well, that's where I'm getting at is like, I think it's time to consider hiring some sort of like a copywriter, some sort of a gun
Yeah,
to beat your control and to
yeah,
see if you can improve that, because just fiddling with the bits and, getting all of the right pieces in the right places on the sales letter can have a drastic improvement.
totally.
Melanie and I can write really good copy for her brand, but we got this lady that we use, and it costs somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 bucks for a sales letter from her to get a full sales letter. And they don't always work drastically better, but sometimes she puts out things that work so freaking well that we can run ads to them for,
Yeah,
I mean, years and years and years on end. And the ROI on those kinds of things goes up drastically. So to me, you're probably going to get, like, yes, you got to figure out what the exact price point is. But if you want to just go with a higher price point, all you need to do is justify that price point more in the sales
yeah,
copy.
through sales.
Here's why
Yep,
it's worth $197, because the
totally.
average pool guy costs $463 per year. You're
Right.
saving that, but you're not even going to, so over the course of 5 years, you're going to end up saving $6,247. And, is it worth $197 today to save $6,247? Of course it is, right? Like, make
Yeah.
the logical decision, pull the trigger now. Also, have you done YouTube ads in addition to Google and Facebook?
No. Well, yes. The answer is yes, I have.
Okay.
They have all tanked horribly.
Was
Um,
it great creative? Was it one of your videos? Because you make crazy, weird, goofy shit, dude.
I
Like,
do.
I've seen your
No, it
rap
was no,
videos. If
I
anybody
tried.
watching hasn't seen Matt Giovanisci's rap videos, it's under his name.
Yeah.
He has a rap album on YouTube that's actually surprisingly not terrible.
Yeah.
I hope that's something resembling a compliment. I was
Yes, it
impressed.
does. It
But
does.
are you familiar with the Dr. Squatch
Yeah.
brand? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you saw the early Dollar Shave Club
Yep.
video ads, right? There's that like over the top, there's movement, there's stuff, you're throwing shit into a pool, you're
Yep.
just you're making this visual video experience that people, even who don't have a pool, are going to watch, because it's just like, it's this and that, and then the laptop, he throws a laptop in the pool and and you're trying, like, it's
Yeah.
just like, it just becomes this experience that people enjoy watching. I see that like playing to your strengths, and also knowing, you're in your little brew cabin thing
Uh-huh.
that you're in. The videos you created for that,
Yeah.
the level of, like, they crushed it, right? Like, the level of
Mhm.
like artistic prowess that you deliver inside of a video is
Mhm.
noteworthy. And I think there's a way in that you could play with it, and that it could be,
Totally.
when you find that fun, I think
Mhm.
there's a big opportunity. But then again, I would just be in production. I would try to produce 3 to 4 ads
Right.
that would be ready for opening season in spring.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do, and that's what, like, yeah, I could go buy a bunch of fake money and just start dumping buckets of it into a pool, and that would stop somebody from scrolling. Like, what the fuck is this
Can
person
I
doing?
can I can I get you one idea a little bit better than that?
Sure, go ahead.
Get real money. Like, they won't let you take out more than 5 grand from your bank at a time, but just once every couple of weeks, go get out like 3, 4, 5 grand in 50s and 20s and stuff. And then by the time springtime hits, you'll have like 15, 20 grand laying around. It's linen. It's not
Why
paper.
would I do that? Like, what's the
because that's
difference? Like, it's all
awesome.
video.
Because it's real. Like it would be real. Like it's just that authenticity. You could do it your way. I just think it would be funny.
Just, I hear what you're saying. I mean, look, I love the authenticity of it, and it's like, wow, that guy really did that. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
I get that. I get
It's
that
called a
like
hook. It's
spectacle,
a
right?
pattern interrupt, right? It's called a hook. And that's what
Yeah.
you have to like, you have like people are, they're zombies on Facebook ads, right? They're just numbing themselves. Like
Yeah.
dopamine, dopamine,
Right.
dopamine, dopamine. And like YouTube's the same way, man, which is, I kind of get disheartened on continuing to make YouTube channels sometimes because I know there's like a huge segment of my audience they don't actually build anything. They just
No, yeah,
watch videos. They're getting this weird dopamine entertainment from watching
totally.
creators talk about how to create. And you actually have to like shake them and like
Mhm.
wake them up. You have to get them out of their trance through some
Yeah.
pattern interrupt that's so big that they're going to be like, whoa. But
Well,
alas.
yeah, I agree. Let me ask this question. Um, what would you do if you were me and you have a product that's good, a course that's good that we make good margins on, great margins, ridiculously good margins. And we have a physical book that we make decent margins on, but takes forever to ship to the customer because that's print on demand. It takes like almost 10 days for it to arrive to a customer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the only two things you have.
Yep.
All right. You have a cheat sheet and it comes with it. There's a delight in that cheat sheet where you get the cheat sheet, but you also get like 10 other things you can download that help your pools too. So we kind of over deliver on the lead magnet without telling you. The lead magnet converts organically at 4.5%, just from people visiting our website, people visiting YouTube as well. I can get that. I can do pretty decently on Facebook getting leads. Like that's not an issue for me.
Yep.
So like ad wise and traffic wise traffic has never been my issue.
Yep.
I know how to get traffic, whether it's paid or not. My issue is profit, not even revenue, but profit.
Right. So real quick, what are the other things you're bundling with the cheat sheet on the unannounced bonuses? Because like when you're like, oh, my conversion rates are great on this thing, and I give them this other stuff, I'm like, dude, sell the other stuff.
Oh, I just did that. So yeah, there's like a cloudy pool guide. There's a algae guide. There's a like a data sheet where people can fill out their pool profile so that they have it. We have there's a bunch of other like there's checklists in there, closing checklists, opening checklists. So it's like a bunch of things. Yeah, and I've also I don't know if this matters, but I printed out like I have physical copies of the cheat sheets that are like in matte finish that I can show on video without glare. So like I can physically show people in an ad or whatever that I have, like you can download this and print this. And we have print friendly versions of all of the cheat sheets as well. So that, if it's because it's a very full color, high color. So we're like, we create it.
So can you sell them that?
Can we sell them what? The physical
the
thing?
actual
No.
printed version of it.
No.
Okay. So this is where my brain's going to go is like, what are the things you're delivering that people are saying yes to already? And then what are the little other things that you could start to announce and sell? So you mentioned earlier the cloudy water solution. It sounds like you're incorporating a free version of that in with a cheat sheet, but you don't announce it. So they're not opting in for that for the cheat sheet. So then my question is, would they buy that? Is there a bundle of get this, and this as the 3 little kits? It's $7. And then would people be willing to buy that? If so, can you sell that with the whole course upsell? How does that do against going as an OTO directly to the course? Okay. So I want to like also zoom out a little bit. So there's this initial OTO transaction. Okay. This initial one-time offer transaction that happens. It's a totally separate thing to the perpetual series of offers that you're going to continue to make to them via email, because most people are going to say no to the OTO, right? Like forever. That's never going to change. You're never going to get to a point where 51% of people say yes to your OTO. It just won't happen. Therefore, you need to make sure that your follow-up sequence and your email is always promoting that and all of the other things that they're selling. So, for example, selling the digital course as an OTO right now seems like the best idea, the best thing you've got going. I would link the bump offer for the book after that. Anybody who did not buy that course, I would then try to sell them the book in a future email, probably in a series of future emails. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm just going down the line, like, would they say yes to the everything package? If no, what's the next best thing I could sell them? And I think you could do a video ad for that.
right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Downselling, but not in that exact transaction, because I don't want my people to feel like, Jesus, I just tried to say yes to something free. Like, come on.
Yes.
We take like one shot. We take one crack at making that first sale, and then we get them into some value and some other things.
Totally.
So then, whether they said yes or no to that, finding a way to sell the chemicals, like whether they're your chemicals, whether it's an affiliate product chemical, whether it's something else down there, that is. So I want that follow-up sequence to perpetually go down the list of, did they buy this? Yes or no? If no, if yes, sell them the next logical thing. So if yes, they bought the big course, then I would skip the book, right? I would use tagging for this. If they said no to the OTO, after the deadline funnel is done and you do an actual pitch on the deadline funnels, maybe that's when you drip out the cloudy pool report, the other free report things in a couple of free emails, and then you go for the book sale after that. So they're starting to see the book sale around email 4 or 5. And then when you get through that, you're then selling the chemicals at the end, because when you get down to the chemicals, like, can you make $1 off of these people? Like at some point in your, right. So at some point we're down to that level where we're trying to build this out to where you're making some sort of a sale.
Yeah.
At some point.
Let me ask. So the OTO, we're selling our flagship.
Yep.
In the OTO.
Big be all end all, like the one thing. Yep.
Do you think that is a good idea, or is that a bad idea?
You know the answer to this, my friend.
It's a bad idea?
You have to test.
Oh, sure.
Sorry. I apologize. Right. That's the whole point. Because here's what my question is. I think this is the right way for you, because you kind of have one home run product. You kind of have one thing that you're doing. Now, I would recommend thinking about what's the $29 a month membership program where they can send you pictures, they can ask you questions, they can text you. It's not actually you, it's somebody that you outsource it to. So, because then if you sell somebody on that and they're paying you $19.95 a month, and they get like, here's what to do this month based on their like zone, their USD hardiness zone, however you figure it out. Like you might actually see a lifetime value of that person. If they stick on for 5 years, their lifetime value becomes like $800,000-$900,000. Right. And so I'm actively thinking of ways for you to increase your lifetime value per customer while you're working on selling more of your flagship thing. And adding on recurring revenue is one of the fastest ways. But is that easy? Is that something you want to do? The other thing I would try to figure out, like, so one of the ways I look at it is like, what's the like one thing that your audience would need to do to feel empowered, to feel like I can manage all of my chemicals myself, right? Because I've had a hot tub before. It was in my Airbnb. So I don't want to touch it. No, so I hired professionals, but even before we opened that thing up as an Airbnb, I didn't feel comfortable with the chemicals. Like literally I had some fear around measuring it. So is there some sort of a free plus shipping offer or a super low ticket offer where I get some tester strips and a video that just helps me understand how to monitor my levels? And you're probably like, well, that video is free on YouTube and those tester strips are available at Leslie's Pool Supply. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's the truth about everything. You've seen people in the make money online space who sell $2,000 products that have the same exact information that you and I have been sharing 100% for free for years, right? So it's like some people will pay for that. So is there a free plus shipping offer that you could put out there that gets me a way to watch one of your videos, and then I dip the thing in the thing and I look and I see the color and I know what I need to do with a cheat sheet that tells me what to do with all these colorations. Because once I have that basic understanding, I'm like, I go from being like, this is intimidating, I'm probably going to goof it up, I really don't understand this world at all, to, and then I shift to like, oh, I now get it. You know what? Let me grab the full course. Let me get some chemicals. And you're my trusted advisor because you got me to take that one step that no one else has helped me take before. And every business has this one step. So in my wife's business, it's like, put on the audio and press play and have an experience of feeling like spiritual energy is flowing through your body, right? Like for the Miles Beckler brand, often it's getting someone to actually publish their first several YouTube videos, or getting someone to actually publish their first WordPress. But when I get someone to shift out of being a pure consumer, a pure entrepreneur who thinks like, oh, it'd be cool someday if, to then actually shift and get on the path. And even if they publish 1 or 2 blog posts and they're terrible and they were written with AI, that's a monumental shift. So I'm looking for these kind of like 0 to 1 moments in your audience as well. And test strips, because to me, they don't even need to be in a tube, right? Test strips should be able to fit in an envelope. That's something that you should be able to mail out.
Wrong. Trust
Really?
me, I went through this. Yeah, and I'm nuts.
What do you mean wrong?
This is why like the physical product industry, especially for pools, has been like just kind of tough to do. It's they're old school. So like I literally came up with new packaging, foil insert, like like not ergonomic, but like so that they don't get wet. They're like, we can't do it. No one will do it. No one will do it in America. You have to go overseas to do it. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks because all the test strip companies are here in America. So, but there are some I can get. It's just not. It's never going to look the way I want it to look, and it's never going
to. I know you and brands and prettiness. I mean, look how pretty your fucking set is, dude. Like, look at that. Yeah, I've been in your house. So, I know how much of an interior design specialist, design home gangster you are.
Yeah. So I'm just like, so anyway, that is still in the works. That's like part of that tool that I mentioned earlier. Is like, we want to offer a physical, like a small physical product you get in the mail, literally the lightest envelope, a handful of test strips, maybe or more. And like, honestly, it would be a dream of mine for people to never pay for test strips ever again. I don't know how to do that, but it would be great, because I'm like, the biggest problem that people have is they don't test their water, and then they add the wrong chemicals or whatever the case is. So yes, that is absolutely like, so you say that, and I'm like, immediately I'm like, yeah, I can make that happen in 2 hours, right? I can make that product, I can design that sales page, I can put it up as an OTO and test it against, my course that's OTO right now, right? But so here's where I get like really tripped up with A/B testing, which is like, I want to test all this shit fucking today. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I go, well, what is the order of operations so that I don't waste my time when I should be testing something that would definitely be better? I have this test running now, and I basically have 1 day worth of data, which is 0. I go, okay, but now I have this new idea.
Refresh.
Yeah, it's all day. I'm just like, what? Did he get a sale? So Steph's like, stop looking at it and saying it out loud in the room.
Don't pick at it.
Yeah. It's like, check my stats every single day. Did we get more traffic? It's like, no, it needs time. But yeah, like, I want to test that now. But I can't test that for, 3 to 6 months.
But yes, you can. You would test it in a different position. So I would go through all your non-buyers, everybody who's never bought from you in the past. Boom. Yes. That's who I would test it for, right? And I would email it out. My first test would just be a freaking email, right? Straight to email.
I can't do that right now.
You can't email your list right now?
I can't email them to buy something for their pool, because most people don't have their pool open. Right. So, like, totally. I do have those segmented. So I could, I'm saying that just to be very transparent, but
I think you need a hobby. I think you need another brand that is counter-cyclical to the pool brand. And I know you're on the path of only one brand. Okay, cool. Yep.
I'm in it.
So what are you selling to your beer people?
It's nothing. Nothing's happening. It's down. I shut everything down.
Yeah, no, I get it. But this is the thing, right?
This
So
might come back. If anything's coming back, Money Lab's never coming back.
Yep.
This I didn't like fully remove. I just went, I need to focus on Swim University and get that cranking.
Yep.
Then once we have a good flow of like, I'm involved in the business, because like right now, where I'm involved is like I'm doing content, and I'm improving the products, and I'm making better sales pages, and I'm CROing and all these other things.
Yep.
And I feel like I don't need a lot of time there, and I will always continually do it, but I need a good job in my own business.
Yeah.
Right now I don't feel like I have that job. And once I have that job, then I can go, oh, my second job, I'm going to write 1 article a week for this thing and 1 video a month for this thing. And that's just sort of like, I have the time and, availability to do that. And then I'm like, all right, I'm good. But yeah, and this is like, I could do a lot more with this, right? Because it's like this, I don't own a fucking pool or a hot tub. So like,
I thought you were installing a hot tub when you yanked the deck. Didn't you have that pad?
We did. Yeah. Like it's it can receive a hot tub, but it still means I have to buy it. And then it means I have to take care of it, which I know how hard it is. So it's like, there's the catch-22, but yeah, I mean, that's all I did my whole life was take care of pools and hot tubs. And it's like, so with it's interesting that with brewing, it's like, it's much easier for me to create content because I have the set, right?
Totally.
But yeah, anyway, so
well, here, let me go through a couple of things real quick. So what I would do is I would open up a calendar and I would look at the calendar. I would figure out what's the point in 2024, right? Because we're recording this early November. So like when in 2024 are you comfortable actually rolling stuff out to where that belief, that thought of like, oh, I can't do that because everybody's pool's closed, right? So I would start mapping out your calendar for next year. And I would be launching at least 3 or 4 new offers. They don't have to be new products, but I would launch at least 3 or 4 new offers in the first couple of months of next year. Because the way I'm seeing it as a like CRO, conversion rate optimization specialist, right? With that hat on, through that lens, you have a window of opportunity to gain all of your data, and then fall and winter hits and your window of opportunity gets kind of slammed shut. And you probably would enjoy knowing that the few people who are showing up right now, getting into pool season in Florida, in Texas, et cetera, you'd like to know that they're going through the most optimized part of your business.
Yes.
So it's almost like looking at your split testing process as like you have split testing season in your business, because there's this little window from, let's say, April through June that you're able to just really, everyone is relatively receptive. I'd probably look at your revenue numbers and your traffic numbers, and I would look for that month where you have that kind of like,
I know it. Yeah.
Okay. So when that starts. So then right now, you're actually going to be building out products and prototypes and things and offers that are going to be like ready to go then, which include, you got to like, dude, free plus shipping test strips. I bought test strips for a hot tub before. They came in like a little vial looking thing. I would go buy the vial, empty it, put 2 strips in with some sort of like a 3x5 card that has a QR code on it. They snap a picture of the QR code. It's got 2 or 3 of those. It's got a sales letter in with it. So when you mail it to them, it has the thing, the QR code takes them to the video, and it includes a written sales letter for the full thing. So the free plus shipping thing that they're getting gives them a tool. It gives them education. It gives them a sales pitch, all in a cheapest damn thing you could ever mailer, right?
Would you, all right. I want to just
make sense.
Stop you right there on that idea. Yes, 100% makes sense. If you were going to test that, would you literally at home mail that out to
100%,
people?
100%. Yep, okay. The first ones. And I think like I know a little bit about your business. Like, doesn't your bro work in the bit? Like, isn't he doing your TikTok videos or something?
Yeah, but he's in a tiny apartment in Denver and can't like have products.
Envelopes.
Dude, but then
test strips like.
Sure.
180 test strips would fit on this, right? We're talking very, very, very small things. Okay. So for people listening who can't do test strips, stickers are the thing for y'all. I would say go out and buy. So here's, and like, maybe there's a way to adapt this. Perfect. Exactly. So stickers are one of those things that you can do free plus shipping on a sticker. You can slide it in an envelope. You can seal the envelope, put a stamp on it and send it, but you always mail it with a printed sales letter. And if you want, there's the old Gary Halbert sales letter where they attach the dollar bill to the top of it.
Yep.
And it's actually attached. So I would attach the test strips to the top of it. And the first part of the first page would be explaining the test strips and how once you learn this one secret to measuring your pH, at that point, you're able to save thousands and thousands of dollars per year, because this is all your pool guy's actually doing. He dips these in the water. He sees the color. So first, let's get them to use them. And second, learn how to get the video course so you never have to pay for those thousands of dollars fees again. Bingo. It's a unified deliverable that they're paying free plus shipping. To me, like, I would go buy the biggest bag of test strips in the world that you can get them from China, get them from wherever, just in bulk. They'll probably be less than a penny each. So to me, that mailer is 25 cents for an envelope, 60 cents for a stamp. We're at like $1. So you can literally do like $1.99 free plus shipping. If you want to put in a Swim University sticker as well, that would be another 15 cents. Printing the mailer, printing the actual sales letter. And I would just test it for the first season. Don't build automation around this shit yet. I know you love automation.
Yeah,
but
no, right.
Not yet, because it's untested. You don't know if it's going to work, right? Yeah. And like worst case scenario, you prove it doesn't work. You got a bunch of test strips around. So you do a giveaway for test. You just find another way to distribute the test strips. They'll fit in the corner, right? They're not that big of a thing.
Not big.
So that's one idea. So then what's the next thing? Like, do you guys have content on cowboy pools?
Not yet.
You know what a cowboy
Stock Tank, yeah. But yeah.
Right.
Cowboy is the brand.
What?
Cowboy is the brand of stock tank pools.
Technically speaking, I don't know if they're actually, I would dig into that, right? So a cowboy pool is a concept for people listening. It's a stock tank pool, which is essentially like a watering dish for cattle. And what they do is they put like a rhino liner ceiling in it, and you fill it up and you can put a filter on it. So like, do you have a cowboy pool design product? Okay. So if you go on Etsy right now, and if you go look on Etsy, you're going to see that there's PDF plans for how to make a cowboy pool, how to make that. They're selling for $29 all day long. Okay. Yeah. Airbnbers want to add cowboy pools in hot climates like Florida and Texas for summer stays, because then they get to check the box that says they have a swimming pool, even though they don't. And they can usually install them without getting permits. And they cost like $800 instead of $160,000, what it costs to put a pool in. Right. So like, I would build that info product, and I would literally make a cowboy pool. Here's the trough. Here's the pump. Here's where you drill the holes. Ta-da, get it done. The other thing I would do in this offseason, I would find a copywriter, and I would hire a copywriter. I think that getting a copywriter to help you flesh out your sales letters, to improve upon your sales letters, to come up with split test ideas for your sales letters. And then hopefully you're creating products so quickly and rapidly that you don't have time to write the sales letters, and you just have a professional write all of your sales letters. And that's Melanie and I, we kind of like, we get in and out of that. So we'll be making so many things that we have copywriter writing everything. And then I look and I'm like, man, $3,000 for a sales letter. I'll do that myself. And then like I pull back and I write a few of them myself. And then I'm like, fuck, writing sales letters is really difficult. I'm going to hire, and sometimes I hire them and I give them what I would consider like an 80% done sales letter, and they fix it and improve it from there. I'd be more than happy to connect you with the girl that I use, but you might want to I found her on Upwork, literally. And I found her by looking for key phrases. So I was searching in the copyrighted category, and I think I was searching for like manifestation, because that's just like a big sub niche. It's not our niche, but it's close enough. If they know people who buy manifestation products, they know my people. And so I hired a copywriter who I felt knew my people. And it turns out she is one of my people. She's one of us weirdos. She's in Portland and she's awesome. Doubt she has a pool in Portland type thing. So like, and what I would do, so what I'm doing is mentally, to kind of like recap, I'm working on building products and offers that are completely ready to go in that window of launchability. And then I would be reconfiguring my autoresponder sequence in such a way that after everything gets pitched, okay, so email 2, 48 hours, that's after the deadline funnel, it's a yes or no. If yes, they go over here and they see the next product. If no, they go down here and they see the book product. after that series of emails, which put some value in there, right? We're not going pitch, pitch, pitch. You already understand that. That's more for people listening. And so now we're creating like a tree, right? So yes, they bought. Okay, here's the next thing for them to buy. No, they didn't buy. Here's the next thing for them to see. If yes, if no, if yes, if no. And this tree goes on forever. It's a decision tree that literally goes on forever. And what you will have at this upcoming year, you don't have all that tagging done. But when the 2025 season happens and you create yet again 3 more products or 4 more things you're going to test, you have different segments. You're like, okay, this product we're going to test for people who bought the book but didn't buy the main course. And we're going to sell them this product with the course as the upsell for this thing. And you're constantly re-adding the products they said no to as bumps and upsells on the future products. And if you iterate this way for a little while, you're going to just build out the number of different products that you have available that you can kind of like Lego snap together in different ways. But you're starting to get data on what's the best entrance point that leads to more yeses back here. What's the best entrance point for this side that leads to more yeses over here? You'll see the ones that kind of flop. You can move them farther and farther down. You'll see new ones that do really well. You'll move them up, up, up. And this is how you kind of like zoom out, and you're optimizing this kind of like new subscriber adventure year over year over year. Because ultimately you have one season to test and that's it. And then it's like done. Did you sell everybody a how to close down your pool yourself so you don't have to pay $900 to get somebody to close your pool? Did you sell that $30 product?
Well, that the thing is like that product is in our course.
Yeah, but how many people said no to your course? 98% plus. Okay, so 98% plus people said no to the big thing that has it all. So sell them the individual components, right? Because that might be a big problem. And then when they buy that one little thing, upsell the whole course. And if they say no to that, put them in a follow-up sequence that sells them the book. And then when it comes time to open their pool, here's what you got to do. Here's a $19 product to open your pool. Upsell the big course. If they say no to the big course, sell them the book. Right. And at some point you do get to where you're showing upsells to people who already bought the course and they bought the thing, and you're going to see refunds come up, but your refund rate is so low right now. That's not a problem, right? If your refund rate, like just go blazing ahead until you hit 5, 6, 7, 8% at 10% refund rates. I'm seriously starting to dig in and be like, whoa, something's wrong here. Right. Like literally I'm something's broken here from my processes, but 4%, 5%, 6%,
yeah, we're not
refund rate. I don't care. And what it is for Melanie and I don't have a way to segment when someone buys product A. I can't show them an upsell based on whether they've already bought the upsell or not. Right. That's a limitation in Samcart. Samcart can't go say that, Psychic Pixie 457 has already bought this upsell, therefore show them the other upsell. So I do actually show bumps and upsells to the same people. And that's like, that's how I monitor when I got to kind of like put a bump or an upsell on a shelf for a year or two and come up with new bumps and upsells.
Yeah, I have a little control because we're Shopify and Klaviyo. So there's a little bit more like nitty gritty in that, but it's still
pain in the ass.
Yeah, still pain in the ass. It's all pain in the ass. Like I'm using for A/B testing, I'm using Crazy Egg because it was the cleanest interface and cheapest one I could find.
And so does it have a heat map where it can show you how far people scroll down? So that's the other thing I would be monitoring, right? What you're looking for is, so for people who don't know what we're talking about, it kind of sort of pseudo records people's screens and it sees how far down they go.
It does that too, though.
It'll actually record their screen for sure. But what I want you to try to figure out is where on your sales copy are you losing them? And with a good copywriter, when you show them this Crazy Egg data, because there's some point in the sales letter where most people get bored. They're just like, I'm in the wrong place. I'm out of here. And that's what you need to then, you're like, okay, I got to tell a better story here. I need to put some subheads. I need to make this more scrollable or more scannable, and you're looking for where it went like everybody's reading. And it's like, ooh, we just had a major drop off in people at this part in the page. Why are people leaving here? Did I reveal it's an offer too quick? Is this a boring story? Is the wording I use clunky? And that's how you kind of massage things down and down. But like, if you want to sell more digital products, then be a digital product creation company, Like,
That's what we
don't
want to
be an
be.
SEO company. Then so make more digital products. Make the cowboy pool product. Make
Wait,
the
what did you? I missed it. What did you just say? Like, don't be a what company?
don't be like a search engine optimization traffic company, right?
Right.
Don't consider yourself to be a business. Oh, we do organic traffic. That's what we do. No. We create digital products. We create and sell digital products to people. And
Yeah.
you're going to have this thing. It's going to keep coming up. Yeah, but that's in my big course. Yeah, but 99% of people have not bought your course. Like, look at how many customers you have for your big course and go look at how big your list is.
Yeah.
Do the math.
Yeah. We like to call ourselves like a digital education company.
Yep.
Because it's like that way everything that we sell is to educate somebody on pool or hot tub care in
Yep.
some way. We don't have the audience of like people who are building pools. We don't do that kind of content.
Right.
But there's, I mean, the thing is what's nice about our audience is that it rotates. So like, you know, you move into a house, that pool doesn't leave. It's always there. So like
Right.
but you always have new homeowners that have a new problem now. But it's like, so we
Less
make
now that interest rates are 8%, but hey,
yeah, sure. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people just staying put. But yeah. So, but then you have people that are building pools and installing pools, people that buy the Etsy product to build a stock tank pool still need us. Right. So,
and they need to buy your stock tank pool product, right? Like,
right. And so we've thought about, obviously, like there's a 3-part system to this like master plan, which I may never get to in life, but it was like, you know, we're in the middle, which is like, we're hitting people who already own this asset, yep. Big liability. Yeah. Liability. Then it's like, oh, we could also hit people who do not own that yet and want to build one, say a stock tank pool, buy a hot tub, install an in-ground pool, install an above ground pool, etc. Like that's a separate audience, which then leads them to the third thing, right? Which is our thing. And then we have the industry side of it too. So we could literally take our course that teaches homeowners and repackage it for pool professionals because they all buy it now. Because they're like, I'm starting a pool company out of my pickup truck. You know, what course can I buy that's less than like $5,000? Yeah, like, well, you know,
and it's what I did in the other window while you were talking earlier, I went over to udemy.com.
Yeah.
And I just went to essentially go look at what's selling, and the pool technician and business startup course, the pool tech pro quick course, homeowner pool maintenance course. So you're here, right? Like you're at the homeowner's pool and maintenance course. But what this tells me is just off of Udemy for just the keyword swimming pool, that more people buy the essentially like biz op, right? It's a biz op is what people want. And therefore that's like the next level. And if you know anything about Joe Polish, like what Joe Polish did is he got into the carpet cleaning business, and then he started teaching carpet cleaners how to market their business. And then he started teaching how all businesses can market their businesses. Right. And his income scaled magnitudes.
Yeah. You just go into a wider and wider audience.
Totally. And if you can help those people who have those pool businesses, certification courses work really well, but helping young people start pool businesses. Here's how to start a basic pool care. This is what you need to do, dude. And this is where, when I was saying like be that course creating business, be that info product business, and create more of these courses. And you don't necessarily know exactly which ones are going to work, but this has been, you know, Melanie, my ethos for a very long time is create lots of different products. And you've seen it with my stuff. If you bought my autoresponder templates, like you've seen a lot of my little stuff. I got little stuff, I got bundles, I got big bundles. I did membership for a while. Like I've just lots of different things to see what works, and some things work really well for the marketplace, and I didn't like doing them, so I shut down my membership program. And I actually got something new coming out soon that's going to be kind of similar to that, but it's different, hopefully eliminating the parts that bothered me. And it's this perpetual process of like, yes, I have my traffic machine over here, right? This is me spinning a plate, right? So I keep that plate spinning because I need the traffic to continue to go. Keep my email list plate spinning, but I'm mostly thinking about like, okay, what solutions can I bring to the marketplace that people are going to be willing and able to pay for without really thinking too much of? And that's where I'm looking at the conversion rates.
And getting back to, and maybe to wrap it up too, without going too long, but like getting back to the like A/B testing thing of it, right? Like A/B testing products makes so much sense to me that like, and I can even see that, I can see it without being confused. It's when you start getting into like price testing and I guess it's for me, it's not necessarily about like what to test, it's when to test, how to test, how often to test, should I even test? Like what's my and I'll say this, what should be the tester's ultimate goal in the end? In my head, I think it's just more revenue, but that's probably not true.
Well, a profit is more important than revenue.
Right.
But
is more profit, but so like, I think, is it better to have more profit and less customers, or more customers and less profit? Because then, there's these nuances to it, but
right. And the variable that helps you decide that is your lifetime value. And right now, your lifetime value isn't much beyond that big main product, if I'm hearing you correctly. Therefore,
it is the only thing. Yes, it is
right,
the only.
right. Therefore, while you build out all of those other things that are going to increase your lifetime value, and they're going to allow you to test different front end offers for people who said no to your main thing. So while you build that out, you are 100% focused on, how do I just sell more of this one thing that brings home the bacon? Because that's the one thing that brings home the bacon. So you want to be testing. I think the price test is a very easy thing you can let run through the winter for a while. And then I would be creating a new sales copy. I would be working with a professional sales copy person to write a new sales letter that when you get into season, and you can even launch it before season for the sales letter, because you are driving some traffic. And I think you know enough about your people that the people who come through are buying, but you would just do so
just
knowing
less.
that the data is going to take a while to accrue. I would be testing someone else's sales copy against yours while you go create the product, because you're not going to be able to go outsource the process of product creation per se. You can outsource bits and pieces of it, but you're still going to be the one putting the brand.
Oh, we're doing.
Right. That is very you. Writing another sales letter is not something that you necessarily need to do. So your price test continues to go while you're just letting this thing run for the time being. You go get another sales copy started for your main thing that's already selling to see if that increases your conversion rate from there. And then what are those other front end offers that we're going to be offering come springtime? And once you have those, what are your ads? And I would think some of these YouTube ads, I would be encouraging you to play those types of games, right? In making YouTube ads and things like that for the different products, the different offerings, the different pieces. And also on the test strip thing, hot tub owners are rocking their hot tubs all winter long.
Oh yeah, no, that's
go up to Summit County, and Summit County is cracking, right? 10, 11,000 feet up, and folks are sitting in hot tubs.
We still have that. Like I didn't mess with that. That OTO is in place. It works. It works. It works. It's not great. I mean, we don't get a lot of hot tub traffic. We get way more pool, sometimes even in the winter. So, we were thinking whatever we learn on the pool side of things, we can just apply to the hot tub side of things. Once that, and that season's pretty much year round. I mean, believe it or not, a lot of people close their hot tubs in the winter. So
it's probably cost, right? People who are on fixed incomes and stuff. I mean, it can be expensive to keep them running all.
Yeah, especially people that the people who are older in the Northeast close their hot tubs, winterize it, go down to Florida and spend the winter there, and then come back and reopen it.
It does make sense.
Yeah. But then you have here, Colorado, where it's big business here.
Totally. Nothing better than sitting under the stars when it's cold as hell out and just enjoying the hot tub, right?
And Pacific Northwest, 2 areas.
Yeah, I think finding a copywriter, man. I think getting somebody in your back pocket who's an absolute just a wordsmith who can convert people, and it might take testing a few. But that's what I would be testing. Technically speaking, you're looking at the big idea behind the sales letter and the hook, which is usually embedded in the headline, the subhead, and the first couple of sentences. From there, it's just kind of clarity on what all is involved and how it'll benefit the people. But when you find somebody who can write copy for you, you can really turn on this machine of create new product, get great copy that you can count on, written for it, launch it. Does it work? Yes or no? Repeat. And instead of pouring money into the Facebook ads game, hoping the thing you have built works, what you're doing is you're building better things. And when you test something through your list, through your organic traffic that works, bingo, now you can actually roll that out to ads and see, does this offer work on the level of ads, instead of trying to force what you have into the ad atmosphere. This opens you up to creating new things that you can now test in the ad world to find the thing that works for the ad world. Because what you found is what works for the SEO people, because that's how you built your business, because you know them and you know getting in front of them with the, you know how to answer their questions. But it doesn't mean that people on social and people on YouTube don't have other questions about their thing. And they might be curious about how to just measure and like, where do I get the test tips? You know, like the free plus shipping offer may crush it from social. And maybe by day 14 on a free plus shipping offer, you sell a lot more courses than just going after the course sales on the front end. And these are the kinds of like bigger picture things that I like to test. And it's often through more offers is usually the way to kind of get there.
Yeah. And in an offer, it doesn't mean the product changes. It just means how you package it. And
different sales letter. It could be a bundle. It could be, I mean, that's what I've been doing. You notice with all my templates and stuff. I've got the email version of it. I've got the breakthrough sales letter version. I've got like a Facebook front version, trying to figure out what's the best thing. And then I've got the sales funnel bundle going after people who like sales funnels. So my people can be email marketers, sales funnel people, email affiliate marketers. They can be entering my world from a number of different angles. And I'm trying to find those sources of customers that have the highest percentage of people that say yes. Because when I get a bunch of people saying yes, I can then go create follow-up products and offers and things and affiliate emails and all kinds of other things that I can offer them over time. I just want to get a bunch of yeses coming in at first. Build a customer list versus building a leads list. And that's partly, just to actually sum this up, if I go run leads in the make money online space, Jesus, I could spend $4 to $10 per lead for some campaigns, just get an opt-in, which is atrocious. Whereas I can go sell a $5 product for $7 and it costs me $2 out of pocket to get a customer, where it costs me $4 to get a lead. Perfect. I'd rather pay $2, get less of them, but they actually pulled out their credit card and said yes, which means when I launch my Black Friday offer, there's going to be a really high likelihood people are going to say yes. When I launch my New Year's offer, there's going to be a higher percentage of people who said yes because they already bought something from me in the past. And that's more of a reflection on my business model, the fact that I don't have the seasonality built in, than it is anything. But it's good to show people how different it all can be. It's the same theories, but they get applied very differently based on the business.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Any last comments or
no, I'll
beat this dead horse. Why are you beating a dead horse? Don't beat dead horses.
What? What's my dead horse?
No, I was just asking, are we done beating this dead horse? I think we are.
Oh. I'm like, yeah, we're done beating the dead horse. I mean, it's still alive.
It is.
It's not completely dead.
No, we wouldn't do that. We're not those kinds of people. All right. Well, thank you very much, Matt Giovanisci, and thank you at home for watching. Let me know if you have questions about this. I think it's helpful to see how professionals brainstorm through this, right? This is not passive. This is not simple. These are not easy things to do. But the thought process of how we break down into the different offers and what goes where and how goes what, like this is what professional marketers do. And this is the pathway to building multi-million-dollar businesses online from your laptop. So if you liked it, leave me a comment, give it a thumbs up, like it, appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next video.